Silent forces stir long before any light touches the horizon. A subtle pull rises in the chest, a tension in the breath, a feeling that the world is shifting from beneath the surface. These moments signal a powerful cycle approaching. A full supermoon, when the moon draws closer to Earth, and ancient patterns awaken within the human spirit. I am Shi Heng Yi, and tonight we step into a realm where outer movement reflects inner transformation. Long ago, monks observed that when the moon swells in brightness and strength, the mind becomes sharper, emotions grow louder, and energy flows with unusual intensity. This isn't myth, it is a reflection of the delicate link between the body, the mind, and the natural world. In this video, you will discover signs rarely spoken about, signals that rise before a supermoon reaches its peak. Some signs may unsettle you, others may guide you. All are invitations to a deeper understanding of yourself. As the world brightens above, the shadows inside grow more visible, opening a path toward clarity, strength, and mastery. You will learn why restlessness appears without warning, why intuition sharpens like a blade, why dreams carry messages in symbolic form, and why an unseen pressure pushes you toward inner discipline. Each sign contains a lesson rooted in Shaolin wisdom, lessons capable of strengthening your awareness during intense energetic shifts. Stay until the end, because the final sign reveals a threshold many overlook, a moment when spiritual pressure transforms into personal power. Missing it means missing the doorway that leads to your own evolution. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. Join our community by subscribing and walk this path with calm eyes, steady breath, and a spirit ready for mastery. A shift often begins in the body before the mind understands it. A quiet pulse under the skin, a slight tightening in the shoulders, a restlessness that rises without any clear reason. When a supermoon draws near, this sensation becomes more noticeable. People describe it as a subtle trembling, as though something inside wants to move while the world around them remains still. In the monastery, we learn to pay attention to these moments. Restless energy is not a mistake. It is a signal. When qi begins to stir, it pushes through the channels that have been blocked by tension, distraction, or emotional weight. This movement can feel like inner agitation, as if the body is urging you to prepare for something unseen. Students often asked why their hands felt warm, why their legs twitched during meditation, or why their heartbeat grew louder even while sitting in silence. The answer lies in awareness, not resistance. During intense energetic periods, such as the days before a supermoon, this inner movement becomes stronger. The body becomes more sensitive, more responsive, more honest. It no longer hides the imbalances you've ignored. Every tremor, every tight muscle, every flicker of restlessness is a message. Wake up, look within. When you respond with fear or irritation, the agitation grows. But when you respond with presence, something changes. Shaolin practice teaches us to meet rising qi with open attention. Instead of pushing it down, we observe it. Instead of reacting, we breathe with it. The moment awareness touches the sensation, the body begins to reorganize itself. Energy finds its path again. This restlessness is not a threat. It is the beginning of alignment. It asks for patience, calm breath, and a willingness to listen to the subtle language of your own life force. A rising moon has a way of pulling not only the tides but also the inner waters of the heart. As its strength grows, emotions begin to move with unusual intensity. A small comment feels heavier than it should. Someone's sadness lingers in your chest long after they walk away. Joy arrives suddenly, like a warm breeze, and just as quickly slips into quiet irritability. This shift surprises many, yet it follows an ancient pattern observed for centuries. There was a time in the monastery when a young student came seeking guidance. He said he felt everything too deeply. When others were tense, his own breath tightened. When someone carried anger, his heartbeat changed. He feared something was wrong with him. The elder monk only smiled and replied, "You are not breaking, you are sensing." Heightened sensitivity is not a flaw. It is simply energy becoming more transparent. Before a supermoon, the boundary between your inner world and the outer world thins. You feel more. You absorb more. You notice moods, tensions, and unspoken emotions that previously slipped past you. This sensitivity can open the door to compassion, but it can also invite overwhelm if you move without awareness. Mindfulness becomes the anchor in this shifting sea. Instead of following every emotional wave, you learn to stand on the shore and watch the movement with steady breath. Discipline does not mean suppressing emotions, it means acknowledging them without letting them sweep you into reaction. When irritation rises, you see it as a passing cloud. When empathy deepens, you hold it gently without carrying the weight of every person you meet. Ancient teachings remind us that sensitivity is strength when guided by awareness. It reveals the heart's natural wisdom. It teaches you where you are open, where you are vulnerable, and where your inner mastery still needs refinement. Sleep becomes a doorway during powerful lunar cycles, and the days before a supermoon often reveal this truth most clearly. Nights feel longer, even when the hours are the same. The mind stirs with quiet intensity, carrying thoughts that refuse to settle. Some people wake repeatedly, as if called back from dreams that pull them too deeply. Others fall into unusually vivid landscapes, symbolic journeys that leave a lingering feeling long after sunrise. In the monastery, it was said that when outer light grows stronger, the inner world responds by revealing what has been hidden. Dreams during these times are not random stories. They are reflections of emotions, questions, and truths that the waking mind has pushed aside. A dream may show you a forgotten fear, a desire you have not dared to admit, or a pattern you have repeated without noticing. These messages are not meant to confuse. They are the subconscious trying to speak in a language you can feel. A novice once asked why dreams seemed louder during certain cycles. The elder answered, "When you cannot hear yourself in the day, the night raises its voice." This understanding encourages a shift in how you relate to sleep. Instead of judging restless nights as a problem, you begin to treat them as guidance. Each awakening becomes an invitation to breathe, observe, and gently return to stillness. Each vivid dream becomes a symbol worth exploring, not ignoring. Inner mastery grows when you bring awareness into both realms, waking and dreaming. Before sleep, a few calm breaths can prepare the mind. Upon waking, a moment of reflection strengthens the bridge between the conscious and subconscious. Ancient practice teaches that clarity begins when you stop running from inner messages and start listening to them with steady attention. There are moments when clarity arrives without warning, as if a curtain inside the mind suddenly lifts. Before a supermoon, these moments become more frequent. You may find yourself pausing mid-thought, struck by a realization that feels both new and deeply familiar. A pattern in your life becomes unmistakable. A desire you buried long ago rises to the surface. A fear you pretended not to carry reveals its outline with surprising sharpness. These flashes of insight do not come from nowhere. They emerge when the mind grows quiet enough to hear itself. In ancient teachings, it was said that the moon acts as a mirror, reflecting not only light across the night sky, but also illuminating the hidden corners of the spirit. When its presence strengthens, the truths you avoided can no longer remain in shadow. One student once asked why some truths seem to reveal themselves only during certain times. The elder responded, "Truth is always there. You only see it when the inner dust settles. This dust comes from distraction, fear, and habitual thinking. When energetic cycles intensify, such as those leading up to a supermoon, the dust begins to fall away, and sudden clarity breaks through like a beam of light." Inner mastery requires the courage to look at these revelations without turning away. Discipline is not only about movement, breath, or posture, it is also the willingness to sit with uncomfortable truths. A realization may challenge your plans, reshape your beliefs, or expose the gap between who you are and who you want to be. Instead of resisting this clarity, you learn to welcome it. These moments of insight are invitations. They call you to align your actions with a deeper understanding, to refine your path with honesty, and to step forward with greater awareness than before. There comes a point when the body speaks louder than the mind, urging you to let go of anything that feels heavy or stagnant. As a supermoon approaches, many people notice a pull toward cleansing, an instinctive desire to release old habits, simplify routines, or clear away foods and thoughts that drain their energy. This urge does not arise from pressure. It comes from an inner wisdom that knows transformation begins with emptying what no longer serves you. In the monastery, purification was always the first step before deeper training. The elders explained that strength cannot grow in a cluttered vessel. They encouraged students to observe what they consume, not only food but ideas, emotions, and influences. When a student complained about feeling weighed down, the guide would ask, "What are you carrying that does not belong to you?" The answer often revealed patterns hidden beneath daily noise. During heightened energetic periods, the body becomes more honest. You may notice cravings for cleaner food, a desire to drink more water, or a natural resistance to substances that cloud the mind. You may also feel drawn to withdraw from negativity, distance yourself from draining people, or break habits that quietly weaken your spirit. This is the inner system preparing for renewal. Mindfulness plays a vital role in this process. When you watch your thoughts with clarity, you begin to see which ones are recycled stories, which ones are self-criticism, and which ones are born from fear. Awareness itself becomes the cleansing agent, dissolving mental clutter simply by exposing it to the light of attention. Purification is not punishment, it is preparation. By releasing what dims your energy, you create space for strength, discipline, and deeper stillness. The urge to detox is a reminder that mastery begins not with addition, but with letting go. There are rare moments when the world around you feels loud, yet something within becomes perfectly silent. This stillness often appears unexpectedly in the days before a supermoon. While emotions stir, thoughts race, and life moves with its usual demands, a quiet center opens inside you, steady, unmoving, untouched by chaos. It is as if an inner chamber reveals itself, offering a breath of clarity in the midst of turbulence. In ancient training halls, this inner state was valued more than physical power. Monks would sit for hours, not to escape the world, but to learn how to remain untouched by its storms. One elder described stillness as the mountain beneath the wind. The wind may howl, shift direction, and storm across the surface, but the mountain remains. When students learned to find their own mountain, they discovered a strength that did not depend on circumstance. This surreal calm often appears when energy shifts become intense. A crisis may be unfolding, yet your breath deepens. Old fears may be rising, yet your heart feels unhurried. Instead of reacting, you observe. Instead of collapsing under pressure, you find space inside yourself. This is the beginning of equanimity, an inner balance that does not deny emotion, but refuses to be drowned by it. Shaolin meditation teaches that stillness is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of awareness. When you are fully aware, the mind does not scatter. It stays rooted, like a tree whose branches sway while its roots remain grounded. This state grows through discipline, mindful breathing, honest reflection, and a willingness to sit with whatever arises. Surreal stillness is a gift. It reminds you that chaos is temporary, but the sanctuary within is always available. With practice, you learn to return to it, not only during supermoon cycles, but in every moment that calls for calm strength. There are times when the mind steps aside and something deeper begins to guide your choices. In the days leading to a supermoon, intuition often becomes clearer, stronger, and more insistent. You may feel pulled towards certain ideas, people, or directions without any logical explanation. A quiet nudge appears, subtle yet unmistakable, whispering, "Go this way," or "Pay attention here." This pull does not come from impulse. It comes from a deeper layer of awareness waking up. In ancient practice, intuition was called the silent teacher, a presence that speaks without words. Monks were taught to listen to it with the same respect they gave to their physical training. One guide once said, "The mind calculates, but the spirit recognizes." This recognition is not dramatic. It feels like a calm certainty, a soft clarity in the chest, as though something inside already knows the path, even while the thinking mind is still questioning. During heightened energetic cycles, this inner knowing becomes easier to sense. You may find yourself avoiding certain places without knowing why, or feeling drawn to new habits that support your growth. Sometimes this guidance reveals itself through sudden clarity, other times through subtle discomfort that warns you to step back. Intuition speaks in many forms: gentle pull, quiet resistance, a feeling of peace, or a sense of unease. Discerning truth from illusion requires discipline. Not every strong feeling is intuition. Some are emotional echoes or old fears disguised as certainty. Mindfulness becomes the filter. When you pause, breathe, and observe the feeling without rushing to act, its nature becomes clearer. True intuition feels steady. It does not demand. It does not shout. It simply persists. This deeper knowing is a tool for mastery. When you learn to trust it with discernment, you walk your path with greater confidence, guided by the wisdom that has always lived quietly within you. There are moments when desire rises like a sudden storm, demanding attention and immediate action. In the days before a supermoon, this internal tension often becomes sharper. One part of you urges movement, indulgence, or escape, while another reminds you of the discipline cultivated over years of practice. The clash feels real, a tug between instinct and intention, between fleeting impulse and lasting wisdom. In the Shaolin halls, this struggle was never ignored. Students were taught that mastery is not the absence of desire, but the ability to navigate it. One master explained, to yield to impulse is to be led by the wind. To act with awareness is to sail your own ship. Impulses are neither inherently bad nor to be suppressed. They are energy, a signal that calls for understanding and mindful response. When tension rises, the mind may label it as conflict, frustration, or weakness. Yet every urge is an opportunity to practice awareness. The breath becomes the anchor. Observing the impulse without immediate reaction creates space between desire and action. This space is where true choice exists, where freedom emerges through self-control rather than suppression. Shaolin teaching emphasizes balance, action guided by principle, emotion tempered by mindfulness. Discipline does not mean rigidity, it means aligning movement with clarity and purpose. Each moment of restraint, each pause before action, strengthens the inner structure of the mind. Over time, impulses are no longer masters, they become messengers pointing toward areas where growth is needed, where wisdom can deepen. In this delicate tension, the path of mastery is revealed. Awareness before action transforms restlessness into insight, impulsivity into deliberate choice, and inner conflict into the quiet power of balanced freedom. It is through these moments of challenge that discipline becomes not a burden, but a source of liberation. There are times when life feels poised on the edge of something unseen. In the nights before a supermoon, many notice a subtle tension, a quiet knowing that change is approaching. It is not urgent or loud, but steady, like the gentle pull of tides before a storm. You sense that the current chapter of your life is reaching its peak, and what follows may be different, shaped by forces beyond immediate understanding. Ancient practitioners observed the moon as more than a celestial body. Its cycles mirrored the rhythm of human existence: growth, decay, and rebirth. Just as the moon swells to fullness and then recedes, our own lives follow this ebb and flow. The supermoon, when it reaches its closest point, becomes a threshold, a luminous marker signaling that internal and external shifts are converging. It is a time when accumulated energy and hidden insights rise to the surface, asking for attention, reflection, and alignment. In the monastery, students were taught to recognize these thresholds, not with fear, but with preparedness. One elder once said, "The moon shows the shape of change, but the heart must learn to navigate it." Awareness becomes the compass. You begin to notice patterns repeating, decisions needing reconsideration, or paths previously ignored revealing themselves. This threshold is not always dramatic. It is often subtle, sensed as a quiet pressure, a lingering question, or a pull toward a new direction. Mastery lies in receptivity. Instead of resisting the unknown, you practice patience and presence, observing the signals without forcing outcomes. The supermoon becomes a teacher, reminding you that life moves in cycles, and every ending carries the seed of a beginning. By embracing this rhythm, you step beyond uncertainty with calm clarity, ready to meet the transformation unfolding within and around you. The full supermoon is more than a distant light in the sky. It is a mirror, a subtle trigger that brings inner currents to the surface. Restless energy, emotional waves, sudden clarity, and quiet intuition are not obstacles, they are signals, guiding you toward understanding yourself more deeply. Each stir of energy, each inner conflict, is an invitation to pause, observe, and respond with awareness. By embracing the wisdom of Shaolin practice, mindfulness, and self-mastery, these moments become opportunities rather than challenges. Breath, patience, and reflection turn intensity into insight. The moon's energy flows through you, revealing patterns, awakening discipline, and offering a chance to strengthen the quiet center within. When you notice these signs, do not shy away. Treat them as signposts, markers on the path of personal growth. With calm presence and intentional action, you can transform the cosmic rhythm of the supermoon into a doorway for deeper mastery of body, mind, and spirit. May this cycle remind you that transformation begins within and that the quiet power of observation can illuminate every step of your journey. Thank you for joining us today. If you found value in this guidance, please like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Soulfire to continue walking the path of awareness and inner strength.